All right, so you're prepping for a trolley bus driver interview. Big deal. It means stepping into a world where you're not just behind the wheel, you're responsible for everyone on board, like a captain but on city streets instead of the open sea. And to help you navigate this interview, we've got some incredible resources from RoleCatcher, their career guide, their interview guide, and their interview questions repository.
It's amazing how these resources give you this really comprehensive view. You'll understand what being a trolley bus driver truly means, what kind of questions they'll ask you, and how to practice answering them.
Yeah. It's like having a cheat sheet, but instead of answers, we're giving you strategies so you can create your own winning responses. And we're even going to add in some tips from RoleCatcher's AI tools so you can stand out. Before we get to those tricky questions, though, let's talk about what a trolley bus driver does.
A trolley bus driver is super important to public transportation. I mean, you operate those electric buses, you collect fares, and you make sure everyone has a safe and smooth ride. It's a job where you need driving skills, yeah, but also amazing customer service.
Okay, and since you mentioned driving skills, let's get into some of those interview questions. First one, a classic. Can you tell us about your previous experience as a trolley bus driver? They're not just looking for a list of your past jobs here.
Nope, definitely not. What they really want to know is if you've actually done this before, right? Do you understand the ins and outs of the job?
So how do you answer that without just, repeating your resume?
Well, think about it this way. What parts of your experience show your skills and why you're passionate about this role? What kind of routes did you handle? Did you drive a special kind of trolley bus? What about special training? If you weave those details into your answer, you'll create a much clearer picture.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful. Their platform helps you analyze job descriptions to make sure your CV has the skills they're looking for. It's like having a personal assistant who knows exactly what the employer wants.
Totally. It's all about showing your best side. And that brings us to a really important question for trolley bus drivers. How do you ensure passenger safety while driving a trolley bus?
This is all about proving that safety is your top priority.
Yeah, and don't just give a generic answer. Think about specific things you do to keep everyone safe. Like, do you have a pre-trip inspection routine? How do you deal with busy intersections? Do you tell passengers about safety stuff clearly?
And they might even ask, can you describe a time when you had to handle a safety concern while on duty? So have a real-life example ready that shows how you handle tricky situations.
Yeah, a good example will make your answer much stronger. Okay, let's switch gears to passengers. How do you handle difficult passengers is something you can almost always expect.
Oh, this is a tough one.
Hmm.
It's like they're testing if you can handle stress when people are having a bad day.
Think of it as a way to show off your people skills. Focus on how you stay calm and professional, even under pressure. Tell them about a time you calmed down a difficult passenger.
Like a time when we really listened to their concerns, maybe offered a solution, or calmly enforced the rules while being respectful.
Exactly. It's about showing you can control the situation but still be great at customer service. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you practice those answers and get feedback on how you sound, like a virtual coach who helps you sound confident and professional.
Awesome. Okay, the next question. How do you maintain your trolley bus? This sounds technical, but it actually shows how responsible you are.
Absolutely. They want to know that you care about keeping the bus in perfect condition. What are the regular checks you do? Engine fluids, tire pressure, lights,
Oh.
brakes.
And if you know how to troubleshoot small problems or work with mechanics, mention that. It shows that you're not just a driver, but you take ownership. Plus, a well-maintained vehicle is safer for everyone, right?
Absolutely. And it goes right back to safety, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
Okay, now get ready because this next one is about thinking fast. Can you tell us about a time when you had to make a split-second decision while driving a trolley bus?
Uh-oh. The situational question. It's all about how you react under pressure.
Exactly. Pick a time when you had to assess a risk, think quickly, and make the right choice. Maybe you had to avoid an accident, brake suddenly, or find a detour because of a road closure.
But the key, to be honest. Right. Pick a real situation where you showed your skill.
Definitely. It's not about making up a story. It's about showing you can handle surprises, and that safety comes first.
Okay, now for something everyone who lives in a place with, let's just say, interesting weather, can relate to, how do you handle driving in inclement weather conditions?
Oh yeah, rain, snow, fog, all those fun things Mother Nature throws at us. They want to know if you can handle slick roads and bad visibility.
So how do we show that we're not just a good weather driver?
Talk about how you adjust your driving. Do you slow down? Do you keep a bigger distance from other cars? Do you use your headlights right?
And if you've had special training for driving in bad weather, definitely mention that.
For sure. And this is where knowing stuff from RoleCatcher's Career Guide comes in handy. Remember we talked about technology changing the industry? Well, a lot of trolley buses now have fancy safety features to deal with bad weather. If you mention that you're willing to learn and adapt to new tech, it'll make you look really good.
Right. It shows that you're forward thinking. Okay, let's go back to customer service. Can you tell us about a time when you had to provide exceptional customer service to a passenger?
Remember, you're not just a driver. You're like the face of the transit system. This is your time to shine and show how you go above and beyond.
So what kind of story should we tell here?
Think about a time when you really helped a passenger. Maybe you helped them with directions or told them about connecting routes, or maybe they had a disability and you assisted them, or maybe they were having a bad day and you just listened.
Don't just tell the story, though. Talk about what you did specifically and what the positive result was. It's about showing empathy and good communication.
Exactly. Sometimes even small acts of kindness can make a big difference for someone. Okay, speaking of journeys, let's talk about sticking to the schedule. How do you ensure that your trolley bus stays on schedule? It might sound simple, but it's your chance to show off how you solve problems.
It's more than just saying, I follow the schedule, right?
Definitely. Delays happen. Traffic, unexpected stops, passenger problems, all those can mess up your timing. They want to know how you think ahead and handle those things without compromising safety.
So we could say that we've learned to predict traffic based on the time of day, or we know the route well enough to find the fastest way.
Exactly. Maybe you're really good with GPS, or you can make up lost time without speeding or being unsafe. Tell them about those things to show that you're proactive.
And here's another spot where RoleCatcher's AI tools are awesome. They can analyze job descriptions and see if time management skills are important, which lets you tailor your answer perfectly.
It's like having a guide whispering in your ear, hey, this is what they're really looking for, and helping you match your skills to what they want.
Okay, this next one sounds intense, but it's super important. How do you handle emergency situations while driving a trolley bus? It's all about showing that you can stay calm when things get crazy.
Yeah, it's about showing them you're committed to passenger safety, knowing the rules, and staying cool under pressure.
So how do we talk about this without sounding like we're in a disaster movie?
Start by talking about those safety features. Emergency exits, first aid kits, communication systems, all the important stuff. Then explain what you do in case of an accident, a fire, or anything that needs quick action.
So like if a passenger has a medical emergency, I'd pull over somewhere safe, contact dispatch, and give basic first aid while waiting for the paramedics.
Perfect example. It shows that you know the procedures and you're ready to act fast. Remember, it's not about knowing all the answers, but showing you can think clearly and keep those passengers safe when things are stressful. Okay, now let's talk about something that sometimes gets overlooked but can really make you stand out. Can you tell us about a time when you had to provide exceptional customer service to a passenger?
This one doesn't sound as intense as an emergency, but it's still about going above and beyond. It's about making those passengers feel like they're important.
Exactly. And remember, you're dealing with all kinds of people, and not every interaction is going to be easy. Think about a time you really made a difference for someone. Did you help them with directions or tell them about connecting routes? Maybe they needed assistance because of a disability, or maybe they were just having a bad day and you were there to listen.
And here's a tip from RoleCatcher's Interview Guide. Talk about the specific things you did and what the positive outcome was. They want to see that you truly care and that you can turn a bad experience into a good one.
You got it. It's about showing that you're not just a driver, but that you care about people and you represent the company well. Sometimes those little acts of kindness can really change someone's day. Okay, now a question that tests how much you know about the industry. What are some current trends in public transportation that you find interesting or important?
So we're talking about more than just trolley buses here, right? We're talking about the big picture of how people get around.
Exactly. Think about sustainability, accessibility, technology. These are the things shaping the future of public transportation.
And RoleCatcher's Career Guide has a lot of great information about this.
Yeah.
We talked about electric and hybrid vehicles, but there are also things like smart cities, systems that connect different types of transportation, and even the possibility of self-driving vehicles in the future.
Exactly. If you mention these trends, it shows that you're thinking ahead, that you're engaged, and that you want to be a part of where the industry is going.
And here's a pro tip. Tailor your answer to the company you're interviewing with. If they're known for being environmentally friendly, for instance, you could talk about your interest in electric vehicles and sustainable transportation.
That's a great point. It shows that you've done your research and that you understand what they care about, which makes you a better fit for their team. Okay, now let's talk about a question that often comes up near the end of the interview and can be a little awkward. What are your salary expectations?
Oh yeah, this one can be tricky. You need to know what you're worth, but also be realistic and understand what the market is like. How do you handle this without selling yourself short or asking for too much?
Remember, it's not just about throwing out a number. You need to show that you've done your research, that you understand what the role is worth, and that you're confident in your skills.
So where do we even start with figuring out what we should be making?
RoleCatcher's Career Guide is a great place to start. It tells you the average salaries for trolley bus drivers in your area so you get a general idea. There are also online salary calculators and websites like Glassdoor that can show you what other companies are paying for similar jobs.
And remember, it's totally okay to give a range instead of a specific number. That gives you some flexibility and shows that you're willing to negotiate.
Exactly. And the most important thing is to be confident but not cocky. Focus on your experience, your skills, and what you bring to the company instead of just demanding a certain amount.
All right, we're almost done with all these interview questions, but there's one more that's super important. Do you have any questions for us? This isn't just a formality. It's your chance to shine and show that you're truly interested.
Absolutely. It's your chance to get more information, clear up anything you're unsure about, and show that you've been paying attention and thinking about the job and the company.
So what kind of questions should we be asking?
Ask questions that show you're curious and want to learn more. For example, you could ask about the company's culture, their training programs, what opportunities there are for advancement, or even their vision for the future of public transportation.
And here's a tip from RoleCatcher's interview guide. Have a few questions ready beforehand, but also be ready to ask questions based on what you've talked about. That shows that you're really listening and engaged.
Right. Asking good questions can make a big difference and set you apart from other people who are interviewing. Okay, now let's switch gears a bit and talk about something that's often forgotten but really important. Career development. It's not just about getting the job, it's about doing well in that job and building a successful career.
And that's where RoleCatcher's Career Guide is really great. It goes beyond just the interview and gives you insights into how you can move up in your career, what opportunities there are for advancement, and the trends that are shaping the future of public transportation.
Exactly. Remember all those technological advancements we discussed? Well, those are going to create new opportunities and challenges for trolley bus drivers. Staying ahead of the curve is super important.
So what are some of the key trends that people who want to be trolley bus drivers should be aware of?
Well, we've already talked about the move towards electric and hybrid vehicles because people want more sustainable transportation. But there's also the growing use of technology in public transportation systems. Think about smart cities, real-time information for passengers, and even the possibility of self-driving vehicles down the line.
And these changes aren't just affecting how trolley buses work. They're creating a need for new skills that employers will want. So how do we show that we're not just drivers, but also tech-savvy professionals who are ready for the future of transportation?
Talk about any experience you have with GPS systems, onboard computer systems, or even mobile ticketing apps. Don't be afraid to show that you're excited to learn new technologies. The industry is changing quickly, and employers want to see that you're adaptable and eager to stay up to date.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a real game changer. Their platform can help you figure out which tech skills are in high demand, so you can highlight those strengths in your CV and during your interview.
It's like having a personalized roadmap that shows you the skills you need to be a top candidate. Okay, now let's talk about something else that's super important for career development. Networking. It's not just about who you know, it's about building relationships and connecting with people in the industry.
And this is where RoleCatcher's network tool can be incredibly helpful. It helps you organize your contacts, keep track of your conversations, and even find potential mentors or collaborators in the public transportation field.
It's like having a digital Rolodex that not only stores contact information, but also helps you stay connected and build a strong professional network.
And those connections can lead to all sorts of opportunities like landing your dream job, getting valuable advice from experienced people, or even working together on projects that shape the future of transportation. Speaking of shaping the future, let's talk about continuous learning. The transportation industry is always changing, and the best trolley bus drivers are those who keep learning and improving their skills.
Absolutely. So, how do we show that commitment during an interview and throughout our careers?
We can talk about any training or certifications we've completed, things like defensive driving, how to assist passengers, or operating advanced vehicles.
Exactly. But it's not just about formal training, it's about showing that you're a lifelong learner who's curious and always wanting to improve. Talk about your willingness to learn from experienced drivers, attend industry conferences, or keep up with the latest news and trends.
And remember, RoleCatcher's Career Guide is full of resources and links to professional organizations that can help you continue learning. It's like having a personal mentor who's always there to guide you.
You got it. Now, before we go to part three, let's take a moment to think about what we've talked about so far. We've discussed the skills and qualities that make a great trolley bus driver, we've gone over those tough interview questions, and we've explored how to use technology and continuous learning to build a successful career.
It's been a lot of information, but the most important thing is that being a trolley bus driver is more than just a job. It's an important role in the community. It's a career where you can grow, learn, and make a real difference in people's lives.
And if you prepare well, have the right mindset, and use the right tools, like the ones from RoleCatcher, you can confidently go through the interview process, get that dream job, and build a fulfilling career in this exciting and ever-changing world of public transportation.
Stay tuned for the last part of this deep dive, where we'll wrap up with some final tips and inspiring insights to help you shine in that trolley bus driver interview.
Welcome back. We're diving deeper into how to prep for your trolley bus driver interview, and we've got more questions to break down. These insights from RoleCatcher aren't just sample answers, they're strategies you can use to create your own. It's like learning the art of the interview game, not just memorizing lines.
Yeah, it's about getting the why behind each question so you can really nail your response.
Okay.
Let's jump back in with question number 8. How do you ensure that your trolley bus stays on schedule? Sounds simple enough, but it gives you a chance to show off how organized you are and how well you handle surprises.
Right on. Think about it. Stuff happens, you know? Traffic, road closures, even passengers can throw you off schedule. They want to see that you can anticipate those things and handle them.
So it's not enough to just say, I follow the schedule. What else can we highlight?
Think about your route. Have you figured out how traffic patterns work at different times? Maybe you're good with GPS and use it strategically to find the fastest route. Or maybe you've got a knack for making up lost time, safely, of course. Sharing those things shows that you're proactive about staying on schedule.
And this is another place where those AI tools from RoleCatcher can be a big help. Their platform can look at job descriptions and see if time management is something they emphasize, which lets you customize your answer to be super effective.
It's like having a personal guide that helps you match your skills to what the employer is looking for. Okay, let's move on to a question that's all about safety and preparedness. How do you handle emergency situations while driving a trolley bus? This one can feel a little intense, but it's really important to be ready.
Absolutely. You have to show them that you can stay calm, think clearly, and take charge when things get tough. But how do we talk about this without sounding like we're reading from a disaster movie script?
Focus on being prepared and knowing those emergency procedures like the back of your hand. Think about those safety features on the bus: emergency exits, first aid kits, communication systems, or, all the essentials. Then walk them through those procedures, what you do in case of an accident, a fire, or anything else that needs you to take action quickly.
So, for example, we could say something like, if a passenger is having a medical emergency, my first priority would be to pull over to a safe spot, contact dispatch, and give basic first aid until the paramedics arrive.
Spot on. That shows them you understand the procedures and you're ready to jump into action. It's not about having all the answers. It's about showing that you're committed to passenger safety and can think on your feet. Now, let's shift gears and talk about a question that often gets overlooked but can really showcase your people skills. Can you tell us about a time when you had to provide exceptional customer service to a passenger?
This one doesn't feel quite as dramatic as the emergency question. But it's still about going above and beyond, right? It's about making those passengers feel valued.
You got it. And remember, you're going to meet all sorts of people, and not every interaction is going to be smooth sailing. Think about a time when you really made a difference for a passenger. Maybe you helped them with directions or figured out their connecting routes. Maybe they had a disability and needed some assistance. Or maybe they were just having a rough day, and you were there to lend an ear.
And here's a great tip from RoleCatcher's interview guide. Talk about what you did and how it turned out. They want to see that you genuinely care and can turn a potentially bad situation into a positive one.
It's about showing that you're not just a driver, you're a compassionate person who understands that a little kindness goes a long way. Now, let's move on to a question that tests your knowledge of the industry. What are some current trends in public transportation that you find interesting or important?
So we're not just talking about trolley buses here, right? We're talking about the big picture, how people get around in a world that's constantly changing.
You got it. Think sustainability, accessibility, technology. These are the forces shaping the future of public transportation.
And RoleCatcher's Career Guide is a fantastic resource for this. We talked about those electric and hybrid vehicles, but there's also the rise of smart cities, these integrated transportation systems, and even the possibility of self-driving vehicles down the road.
Exactly. If you bring up these trends, it shows you're engaged, you're forward-thinking, and you're excited to be part of where the industry is headed.
And remember, tailoring your answer to the company you're interviewing with can make a big difference. If they're big on sustainability, for example, you could emphasize your interest in electric vehicles and green transportation solutions.
Excellent point. It shows you've done your research and understand their values, making you a better fit for their team. All right, so now let's face a question that often pops up near the end of an interview, and it can be a little tricky. What are your salary expectations?
Oh yeah, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
You need to know your worth, but also be realistic, right? How do we handle this without undervaluing ourselves or scaring them off with a number that's too high?
Remember, it's not just about throwing out a number. It's about showing that you've done your homework and you understand the market value for this role and that you're confident in your skills and experience.
So where do we even start when it comes to figuring out what we should be making?
RoleCatcher's Career Guide is a great starting point. It gives you the average salaries for trolley bus drivers in your area so you have a ballpark figure. You can also use those online salary calculators or websites like Glassdoor to see what other companies are paying for similar positions.
And don't forget, it's perfectly fine to give a range instead of a specific number. It gives you some wiggle room and shows that you're open to negotiation.
Exactly. And most importantly, be confident but not arrogant. Focus on your experience, your skills, and what you bring to the company instead of just demanding a certain amount.
Okay, we're almost at the finish line with all these interview questions, but there's one more that's super important. Do you have any questions for us? This isn't just a formality. It's a chance to show that you're truly interested and engaged.
Absolutely. It's an opportunity for you to get more information, clarify anything that's unclear, and show them that you've been paying attention and thinking critically about the role and the company.
So what kind of questions should we ask?
Think of questions that show your curiosity and eagerness to learn. For instance, you could ask about the company culture, their training programs, what opportunities there are for advancement, or even their vision for the future of public transportation.
And here's a great tip from RoleCatcher's Interview Guide. Prepare a few questions ahead of time, but also be ready to ask questions that come up naturally during the conversation. It shows you're actively listening and genuinely interested.
Right on. Asking thoughtful questions can make a real difference and help you stand out from the crowd. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's often overlooked but incredibly important: career development. It's not just about getting the job, it's about thriving in that role and building a successful career.
And that's where RoleCatcher's Career Guide really comes in handy. It goes beyond just the interview, giving you valuable insights into how you can progress in your career, what opportunities for advancement exist, and the trends shaping the future of public transportation.
Exactly. Remember all those technological advancements we discussed? Well, those are going to create new opportunities and challenges for trolley bus drivers. Staying ahead of the curve is essential.
So what are some of the key trends that aspiring trolley bus drivers should have on their radar?
Well, we've already touched on the shift towards electric and hybrid vehicles driven by that increasing demand for sustainable transportation. But there's also the growing integration of technology into our public transportation systems. Think about smart cities, real-time passenger information, and even the potential for autonomous vehicles in the future.
And these advancements aren't just changing how trolley buses operate, they're creating new skill sets that employers are going to be looking for. So how do we show that we're not just drivers, but tech-savvy professionals who are ready to embrace the future of transportation?
Highlight any experience you have with those GPS systems, onboard computer systems, or even mobile ticketing apps. Don't be afraid to express your enthusiasm for learning new technologies. This industry is evolving rapidly, and employers want to see that you're adaptable and eager to stay ahead of the curve.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer. Their platform helps you pinpoint those in-demand tech skills so you can tailor your CV and interview answers to really showcase your strengths in this area.
It's like having a personalized roadmap guiding you towards the skills that'll make you a highly sought-after candidate. Now, let's discuss another crucial aspect of career development: networking. It's not just about who you know, it's about building relationships and connecting with people in the industry.
And this is where RoleCatcher's network tool can be incredibly valuable. It helps you organize your contacts, keep track of your interactions, and even identify potential mentors or collaborators within the field of public transportation.
It's like having a virtual Rolodex that not only stores contact information, but also helps you nurture those relationships and cultivate a strong professional network.
And those connections can open doors to new opportunities, whether it's landing your dream job, gaining valuable insights from seasoned professionals, or collaborating on innovative projects that are shaping the future of transportation. Speaking of shaping the future, let's talk about continuous learning. The transportation industry is constantly evolving, and the best trolley bus drivers are those who are committed to expanding their knowledge and skills.
Absolutely. So how do we demonstrate that commitment during an interview and throughout our careers, for that matter?
Well, we can highlight any relevant training or certifications we've completed, whether it's in defensive driving, passenger assistance, or advanced vehicle operation.
Right. And it's not just about formal training, it's about demonstrating that you're a lifelong learner, curious and eager to grow professionally. Talk about your willingness to learn from experienced drivers, attend industry conferences, or stay updated on the latest news and trends.
And remember, RoleCatcher's Career Guide provides a wealth of resources and links to those professional organizations that can support your continuous learning journey. It's like having a personal mentor who's always there to guide you.
Precisely. Now, before we transition to part 3, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. We've discussed the skills and qualities that make a great trolley bus driver, tackled those tricky interview questions, and explored ways to leverage technology and continuous learning to build a successful career.
It's been a whirlwind of information, but I think the key takeaway is that being a trolley bus driver is more than just a job. It's a vital role in the community. It's a career that offers opportunities for growth, learning, and making a real difference in people's lives.
And with the right preparation, mindset, and tools like those provided by RoleCatcher, you can confidently navigate that interview process, land your dream job, and build a fulfilling career in this exciting and ever-evolving world of public transportation.
Stay tuned for the final part of this deep dive, where we'll wrap up with some final tips and inspiring insights to help you shine in that trolley bus driver interview. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive on getting ready for that trolley bus driver interview.
We've covered a lot, haven't we? From those tough questions to understanding what a rewarding career this can be.
We have. And we've spent a good amount of time talking about how RoleCatcher's resources and AI tools can give you a serious advantage. But before we wrap up, I want to step back and think about the bigger picture. What makes a truly exceptional trolley bus driver? Beyond just the basics.
That's a fantastic question. Technical skills are important, of course, and so is being prepared for the interview, but it's those personal qualities that really make someone stand out.
So besides just driving the bus,
Right.
what does it take to really excel in this role? What impresses not just the interviewers, but the passengers too?
Well, think about the things we've already talked about. Safety, for one, that's absolutely crucial. You're responsible for all those passengers, so being cautious and responsible is a must.
For sure. And we can't forget about communication skills. You're constantly interacting with people, passengers, dispatchers, other drivers. Clear, respectful, and effective communication is key.
Right. And let's not forget about staying calm under pressure. Unexpected stuff happens all the time. Traffic jams, medical emergencies, difficult passengers. Being able to think clearly and make good decisions in those moments is so important.
It's almost like being a captain, navigating those city streets with a steady hand and a clear head.
Exactly. And having a genuine passion for providing great customer service makes a huge difference too. A friendly greeting, a helpful attitude, that willingness to go the extra mile, those things can really brighten someone's day.
It's those small things that can make a regular commute into a really positive experience. It's about treating every passenger with respect and realizing that you're helping connect them to their lives, their work, their families, their communities.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And there's one more quality that often gets overlooked: adaptability. The transportation industry is constantly changing, with new tech and innovations popping up all the time. Being open to learning, embracing change, and always improving your skills is crucial if you want to succeed in the long run.
It's about having that growth mindset, always looking for ways to learn and get better.
Exactly. So as you go into that interview, remember to highlight not just your technical abilities, but those personal qualities that make you a standout candidate.
And remember, RoleCatcher is in your corner every step of the way. Their resources and those AI tools can help you prepare, practice, and feel confident going into that interview.
We hope this deep dive has given you the knowledge and the motivation to succeed.
Absolutely. So go out there, be safe, and show them what you've got.